This podcast contains content that is graphic in nature and mature language that may be unsuitable for children or young listeners. Listener discretion is advised. Hey, Awesome fam, this is Kellye, and welcome to bonus episode number 4, Quattro. Heyo! Well, we made it midway through December, guys. Actually, a little bit over halfway through December, and I'm going to apologize up front and foremost because I was supposed to do a bonus episode closer to the beginning of December so that we could talk about the stats from November and do comments and talk about all that stuff. But it just so happened that an appeal came out on December 6th that I was already planning an episode for the cold case of Courtney Coco, and on the 6th, David Anthony Burns' appeal came back from the 3rd Circuit Court. So, or not the 3rd, I think it was the 5th. Anyway, it came back, and I was like, well, now is the time. The time is nigh. So that took a little bit longer than I thought, though. If you guys follow me on social media, you know that I struggled for a bit with that episode, not just because of the content, but also because we recorded an entire, I think it was 2 hours worth of content of an episode with Kyler, Uncle Sawyer, and myself. And I played it back and it was just awful. There was something in the audio that I couldn't edit out, and it was entirely too annoying to try to just to try to drown out with either like a background audio music or some other form of editing. It just wasn't going to work. So we had to re-record that with just Uncle Sawyer and myself because Kyler was unfortunately at work. But we got it done. It came out on a Thursday, which is completely and utterly odd because I don't think anything other than a bonus episode has ever come out on a Thursday, but it's been well received so far. So let's go ahead and get into the stats and stuff that I've been wanting to get into, and then we'll go on to comments and such and such. So for the month of November, I remember talking about it, I think in the last episode, that we were talking about October and how we had to get over, I think it was 192 or 193 downloads for November to be able to beat October. And you guys smashed it. It was 213 total downloads for the month of November. I mean, you guys went above and beyond with that, but now December is here and we gotta do the same thing or make it better. So 213 is the number to beat for this month. And I'm sure y'all can do it because I'm trying my best to be able to release content. And I think I have this month so far released one every episode, if not, let's see, I think so. Every week I've released one, and especially if I get this one out by tomorrow. Today's Sunday. If I get it edited and everything and put out tomorrow, then we'll be right on track to have an episode every week this month. So maybe we'll go ahead and hit that number that we need to beat. So 214 for December. Now I understand everybody's about to go on holiday, and I mean, but the good part of that is people hopefully that haven't been able to listen to or haven't caught up yet, maybe on these drives or airplane rides or just around family that they're trying to ignore, they can pop in their headphones and listen to us, right? Maybe, because I mean, I'm guilty. I do that. So anyway, we'll see how that goes for the rest of the month. Right now we're on a pretty steady, about the same as last month for the downloads for this month. So looking good so far. Now I'm going to go ahead and go to the YouTube because that's where I have actual like comments that people have left. And then we'll go to the other reviews and ratings and stuff, and I'll talk about that. So on YouTube right now I have 13 subscribers. I know it's a lot, which is actually I think doubled from last month. I don't even know if I talked about it because there were so few. I think I had 6 last month. Anyway, a couple of comments that we've had on different videos. I think at Nancy LeBlanc 9200, she wrote, quote, "I enjoyed the podcast and you should look into Dr. Gary Brucato and Burgess's colleague." And I have 3 or 4 bookmarks of linked pages and things to read over Mr. Gary Brucato to see if he's got anything that we can use for the podcast here, and we may just squeeze him in regardless. We got another guy, and this one was weird because at Thomas Bridges 6014 wrote, quote, "promo SM," unquote. And I don't know what that means. So Thomas Bridges, if you're listening, comment again. shoot me a message, email me, tweet me, or X me. I don't know what that means. I don't know how you're supposed to say tweet. Send me a tweet. Send me an X. I don't know what that. I don't know how yours. I don't know the language. Or TikTok or anything. Just get in touch with me. What the hell was that? What does that mean? I'm so confused. Or if anybody else knows, let me know. The other one that we have on YouTube was at BethSweet5137. She said, quote, "I'm truly enjoying your podcasts or casts. Love the comments and options given within the cast," unquote. Thank you so much. I wish I could get more feedback from you guys, because I would love to know if there were things that we do that irritate you, or that, you'd like to hear more of or less of, or if there's just critiquing on each one. And the other part that I want to mention right now is there is an app or a podcast platform called Good Pods. And I've mentioned them at the end of my last episode, the Courtney Coco episode 15. I love that platform for one specific reason, and it is because you can rate and review each individual episode. So after you listen to an episode of ours, you could write, "I didn't like this part," or "I loved that you included this," or "Don't ever say these," whatever, for each individual episode. And you can also rate the overall show as well on there, which is not as important, but I would love the feedback just in general, because I would love to be able to say, go to a specific episode and okay, well, they didn't like this, let's change this and let's fix that, whatever. I mean, that would be wonderful. And I think that's a great tool. You don't have to have anything special or crazy. You can download it on Apple, the App Store and Google Play. And I mean, it's free. It doesn't cost anything. It's really great. And then it also curates lists, and you can make your own lists to share with other people. It has an ongoing or a feed, and they do recommendations for all types of different podcasts. They have lists and rankings for all of the podcasts that are on their platform. It's a really cool podcast platform that I think is very underrated as of right now. And I'm trying to get it out there, because I love the little things that you can do in there that you can't do on other places. So check that out. And now we're going to switch over. Since I was talking about Twitter or X, we have 23 followers on there, and I can't talk about all of the things. I post videos. Usually I make them on TikTok because it's just easier. And what I'll do is I'll just copy that and then put it onto YouTube and put it onto TikTok, YouTube Shorts, and then put it onto Twitter, X, and share it that way. And, I get pretty good reactions, and I'm pretty active on X and TikTok. TikTok, I usually do at least a video or two a week. And then on X, though, I'll be on there pretty frequently, because I like to get on there and scroll through and look through all my other, because I follow a lot of other true crime, Dateline, other podcasts and things like that. And I'm constantly and forever, scrolling in my off time just to kind of decompress. And we do a lot of fun stuff. You guys can see some of the processes and things that I go through, and the struggles, I guess is a good way to put it. You go check it out. It's fun over there. We try to do fun stuff and keep it in the loop and up to date there. So it's fun. On Twitter, we have 23 followers. And on TikTok, we actually have 86 followers, which I usually catch a couple new ones every time I post anything that has anything to do with our cats. We have 2 cats right now. One is our Minnie, and her birthday is actually on January 2nd. She'll be 2. And UC is our universe cat, which the initial is UC. That's where that comes from. She randomly showed up and just became ours. She just rolled up in my brother's, Uncle Sawyer, his house is right next to mine, and she just kind of showed up one day when the door was open, and she hasn't left since. So she's just been adopted and accepted into our family, and she now thinks that she is the only one who's supposed to get attention ever. And within the last couple weeks, within the last 2 weeks, she has completely stalled my podcasting process, whether it was between research or editing or whatever, what have you. It's like she figures out exactly when I need to actually do things, and she decides that she needs attention and only attention. And even if I move her, she will find her way back and lay exactly where I am trying to do things. So those are, I posted a couple of those on TikTok and X and my YouTube shorts, so y'all can go check those out. Now we can go over and talk about the Apple Podcasts rating and review, because I had a little bit of a freak out. I think it was last week actually, because I said something about still only having 6 ratings and reviews. I only had 2 at the time, I think, and within that week that I think it was bonus episode 3. So I released bonus episode 3, and within a week, it goes from 6 ratings on Apple Podcasts to 4. So we went the opposite direction of what we were trying to accomplish. And so anyway, I freaked out a little bit. I was like, oh my gosh. So everything is cool. I think when you update it, or you have just a rating, and then someone goes back and does a review and a rating, that it takes it off and then updates and brings it back. Because now we're back to 6. It went down to 4, and now we're back up to 6. And it's all good. We're all good. And the total 6 ratings, but we have 4 reviews. One of them is from legendary_romine. His says, only complaint is that I want more episodes. And I can tell you, just to be full disclosure here, that was Uncle Sawyer, and I traded that for, I don't even remember. I told him, if you go rate and review my podcast, I'll do whatever it is that he was asking. So that was back in June of this year, when we first got started. Now, another one we have from October 3rd was from Tell Me a True Crime Story podcast, and we have talked about them before. She's great. Y'all should go check her out. Tell Me a True Crime Story. She's on all the platforms as well. Hers said, title, So Glad I Found You Guys. The review itself says, fellow podcaster here. Keep up the great work, bringing us intriguing true crime cases from down in the bayou. Big hugs to you two, with the little heart emoji around the smiley face. And then we have another one from December 4th, and that says Peyton's Weesey, which y'all, if you listen to our Pontiff White case, that you know that's going to be the Weesey from there. So basically what I'm telling y'all is all of the reviews that we have right now are either from people that I know or the one from a fellow podcaster. So anyway, Weesey said, True Crime Lotto, ! times 3. Absolutely engaging, well-researched, and presented by authors. You won't be sorry for listening. Share and review to keep those awesome Louisiana and Southern U.S. stories coming. And the other one was just me testing to see if it would update. And I put like different color hearts with Louisiana. Anyway, so that's all we got on Apple Podcast reviews. There's still only 5 reviews on Spotify, but at least those are all 5 stars. The 6 that I have on Apple, 5 of them are 5 stars. One of them is 1 star, and the 1 star left no review, so they just left me 1 star and no reasoning behind it. So I still don't know why I got the 1 star, or why we got the 1 star. It's irrelevant at this point, because I think I decided at the end of the Courtney Coco episode that I'm going to stop asking for ratings and reviews, and I'm just going to keep asking you guys to keep doing what you're already doing, because I believe right now, basically, if not over 75% of our listeners right now, they are because of word of mouth, that someone listened and they told someone else, and that person told, and like that I am absolutely more proud of than just random clicks from other people, like, you know, because we have good ratings or reviews. I would much rather someone find us and listen to us and keep coming back and listening to us because someone enjoyed us so much that they shared it. So big love to everybody that has shared with anybody and everybody. And I appreciate every person that has shared our podcast with someone else, and I would appreciate and do appreciate that is still happening, and hopefully it will continue to happen. And if that's how we get whatever amount of listenership that we get, if that's how it happens, then I am 100% here for that. And I feel like I could be more proud of that, because that's hard to do. If you grow a podcast or something, anything, any kind of product that you're trying to market, if that comes from word of mouth, then I feel like that's something to be proud of. So thank you guys so much for all of that. And you guys appreciate us enough to be able to, and you like us enough to be able to share that with people that you care about, and you value their opinions. So I really appreciate that. You guys are awesome. I don't have much else by way of stats and stuff like that. As of right now, for the month of December through today is Sunday the 17th, I think we have 131 downloads according to my main website that I use, my host website. Now, if you want to go over and pop over to the Apple Podcast stats that they have, and those come just from Apple Podcasts. Theirs always differ a little bit. Now, they say that we have 28 followers on Apple Podcasts. They say that we have 43 listeners, which are just people that have listened overall. So like their individual signature from like their specific either device or whatever. And they said we have 845 total plays, which only differs, only differs from our host website by a little bit. Let me see here. Our host website right now, as of today, says we have 829. So it's a little bit of a discrepancy, and I'm not sure why there's such a difference. I think Buzzsprout, my host, is a little bit more stringent on their counting of plays or downloads. So 845 on Apple Podcasts, but either way, I'm just glad that we have that many people that actually listen and want to hear and share and things like that. Now, Spotify says we have 32 listeners and 23 followers, and that we've got 215 all-time streams on their platform. So not too bad. Looks across the board there. I think Apple Podcasts is still by far and away the most used app for our podcast listening, but I'm just glad people are listening. Listen how you can, listen how you do, and I'm just glad we can make it easily accessible for everybody across all the different devices. So for the rest of the month of December, because we're going to release this episode tomorrow, I'm going to try to make sure it gets edited and get it out in the morning, and that'll be that one for this week. Now, for the rest of the month, I actually spoke to someone. I was actually at my job, and she came in with someone. They were doing some paperwork or something, and we got to talking, and somehow or another we got on the topic of a podcast, and I mentioned that I had one, and they said the name was Cenlaw, and she looked at me like, what? We love your podcast. And she just, started talking about her and her mom, how much they love it and how they listen all the time. And I could not have felt more proud and like just grateful. It was really cool. It was very, very cool to talk to somebody that had actually listened to the show. And I found that really awesome. So anyway, I was talking to her about the show and things, and she was throwing out different cases that she remembered or that they had, they knew about from around here. And she actually mentioned the case that I initially had the idea to start this podcast. That came from a single case that I heard about, and it completely consumed me for a few weeks. And I kept talking about it, and I kept thinking about it, and I kept, telling all the people in my life about it. And I'm like, I've got to tell everybody about this, because this is an incredible spider webby, twisty, turny, up and down, like all of the possible sex, money, yes and no money. But anyway, there was just so many things. It was so intricate, and there was so many details that made me think like, hey, I could tell people this story. People need to know this story. People like me that love true crime and are fascinated by it need to hear this. And that's the one that she mentioned. And so it kind of brought me back, and I've been putting off doing it because I want to do justice. I want to do it right. I want to do right by that case and by that family and by the story and all of the things, all of the parts and all of the pieces. And I think what I've come up and the decision that I've made in regards to that case, and in regards also that ties back into the rest of this year and through the holidays, because in the first week of January, we're actually going to be taking a trip to go see Kyler's family. And so we'll be out of town for about a week from the I don't know, first week to second week, somewhere in there. And so I wanted to have episodes lined up that would just be released and I wouldn't have to do anything, and I could just kind of keep watch from my phone and do my socials and, you know, drop my videos and things as they are released, just to make my life easier and not have to worry about it or stress about that, on top of traveling with 2 children and all of the things. So my idea and what I'm trying to aim and shoot for to have done is, by the end of this coming week, being able to record, edit, and post. It's going to be a 3-part series. It's going to be part 1, part 2, part 3 of the same case. Because that's how intricate and detailed this case actually is. It's going to be those 3 parts of this case, and I'm going to release those. It'll be Christmas Day, then January 1st, and then January 8th. So you'll get 16, 17, 18 parts 1, 2, and 3, those 3 weeks in a row. And then come back probably on like the 15th of January, that following week, with like a bonus episode just to update for December. And I think that's what we're going to do, because I think it's time, and I think that's a good way to end the year and kind of let y'all simmer in that one and see how that goes. And also keep me from having to worry too much about it over the holidays and things like that. So if I can get that done and get that out, and I'm telling you, when I say that one needs 3 full parts. It needs 3 full episodes, probably about 30 to 45 minutes a piece, if not, give or take, you know. So going with that, that's kind of what I got planned. So we'll release this one tomorrow, and then you'll have the next 3 consecutive weeks back to back to back, Christmas Day, New Year's Day, and then the week after that we'll have that 3rd episode, and we'll see how that goes. So guys, I love every single one of you that listen to me, and I appreciate you guys coming back. I appreciate you sharing. I appreciate everything. And I'm glad that I have found, a little bit of a community to be able to share these things with. And the episodes that we have lined out for next year, I'm going to start off after this 3-part series thing through the beginning of the year. I'm going to start with the listener recommendations that I've already got. I've got, a lot of research done on those, and get those recorded so everybody can, because I want y'all to know that I appreciate you, and I appreciate you guys giving me these recommendations and things. And I try to do those as quickly or as soon as I can relative to when I receive them, because I want y'all to know that I do appreciate them, and I love getting them. So if you guys come across anything when you're talking with family over the holidays, do let me know. TikTok, YouTube, X, Twitter. You can still email me. I check that daily, 2 or 3 times a day. Good Pods, you can leave ratings and reviews and stuff on there. I've got those notifications turned on for our podcast. And if you guys just have, it can be as little as a name and maybe a year, or the crime itself, and you can't remember the names, but where it was, location. I mean, vague details, whatever it was, I still want to know. So let me know. I will do my best to get those out as soon as I can. And otherwise, if you guys are just curious or have questions, comments, concerns, and just let us know, because that's what I like. I like hearing from you guys. I really, really do. And like I said, the meeting the person in person the other day was absolutely incredible. I think I was still kind of floored by that, because she was talking about how much her mom and her both enjoy listening, and I just thought that was awesome. So appreciate y'all. You guys have no idea how grateful I am to be able to have this as an outlet, because I don't do a lot of stuff for myself, and this is one of those things that I enjoy doing. So thank you again, and thank you for giving me your time, because I know it is precious. And I hope everyone has a wonderful holiday season, and I hope you guys enjoy the episodes that are coming up. I hope you keep telling everybody about all the ones that you've already heard, and let me know what you think. If you want to, if you don't, that's fine. Just let other people know if it's good, not if it's bad. I'm just kidding. All right, you guys are awesome. Stay cenlawsome, and enjoy your holidays. Hug your family, and eat as much as you want, and just enjoy yourselves and stay safe. We'll see you next time. Take care out there.
This has been an elfaudio production.